everyone, welcome to Watch It Paint It. In this video we are going to be unboxing and building the Red Gobbo, Warhammer 40k. Now I don't play Warhammer 40k and I don't know what this goblin's for or anything like that. All I know is it's the Christmas goblin, like how could I resist? And one thing I want to do with this is I'm going to build it, I'm going to paint it, and I'm going to slap it on eBay. If you guys would like to support Watch It Paint It, support me doing things like this for no real reason, just check out the link and have a bid if you would be interested in buying it. I don't know how well it's going to be painted. We'll find out. Obviously, bid what you want, or don't bid at all, and just enjoy the video. I just thought I'd try something new, keep it, keep it fresh for at least myself. So I've got a challenge, something to do each week. Guys, I do it every week, multiple videos a week. Anyway, let's have a look what's in this box. As I mentioned, don't know if you can play this miniature. I don't really know what it's for. By all means, let me know in the comment section below. Fill me in. But it's got some example reference work. You can see some of the details. I think this looks really cool. Like I just saw it and I wanted to paint it, which is really, really where I'm starting to get. Like I just find things I want to paint as opposed to just trying to paint up my games as fast as possible. So without further ado, I think this is like £20 in the UK to buy. So it's not cheap, but it is a pretty bespoke, pretty unique miniature. I've never seen anything Christmassy from Games Workshop. I'm sure they do other ones, and this is just the first time I've ever noticed it. So you get a little tray to slide it out, little insert. That seems semi-pointless, right? Like you ain't ever putting this guy back in this box. What plastic, guys? You kidding me? Like, can I really complain when I'm building a plastic miniature? But it just seems like over the top for a little bit of a sprue. So we're presented with a read this first. I'm guessing this is the instructions on how to build it, but I'm going to build it in this video. I mean, I'll follow these instructions, but you can follow me if you want. So what we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, but the 4th step's just glue it to the base, which hopefully it's just push fit, but it might not be. I can't tell. We'll find out. I'll get my tools to build this shortly, and then on the back it even shows you like the painting tutorial, which I'm not going to do because I might try and do this in contrast, mainly because otherwise what am I doing other than reading this out to you and showing you where to put it? You just pause the screen here if you want to paint it normally and save yourself some time, but I'll see how good a job I can do in contrast paint, I think. And then the last thing in the box is just the miniature itself, yeah, on a sprue, tightly packed. If that makes any difference, you get a base. What's that, 25-ish mil, probably about 25 mil, 30 mil. Somebody can let me know that as well. I'm sure there's standard bases for Games Workshop, 2013. So I feel like either they just reuse the bases for multiple years, or maybe this miniature's been around a lot longer than I thought. And then that's it, guys. You've just got the sprue and you cut him off and you glue them together, which I will do in the remainder of the video. So stay tuned if you'd like to see that. And on to building this Red Gobbo, this little fella. And you're going to need a couple of tools. First of all, put down my cutting mat just to protect my desk, because I'm going to be using glue and some sharp things. I'm going to be using my Red Grass Games nippers to work on this project. I'm enjoying these nippers. I think they're pretty good. I'll leave a link below if you'd like to check these out. Army Painter's plastic glue. I'm going to try that out. Might switch to super glue if it doesn't work. Sometimes I find plastic glue doesn't work on all of the plastic miniatures. If there's a way to tell which ones it does and doesn't work with, let me know. But when it does work, I am preferring this plastic glue. And then I've got an Army Painter file as well, just to file down any rough bits that come off. And then I've got the sprue just sat in front of me. I'm going to work by cutting off only the pieces I need for each step. That's just going to leave less confusion, although none of these pieces look too similar, so it's not going to be too bad for me. But we're going to start with his back and we'll just nip that free. So I'm going to get my nippers, work out which side to go in from is most easy, and then just sit those nippers flush against the miniature and just make sure I'm not going to catch any of the miniature and snip away the sprue from it. Now another way of attacking this is to snip a little bit further away from it like this and then file down the rest of the sprue. Obviously, maybe don't cut that far away because you've got a lot to file, but if you do that, you're going to make sure you don't accidentally cut any of the miniature, give you a little bit more control over cutting, getting closer to the actual miniature itself. But I'm just going to cut flush up to the miniature because I'm just confident enough that it'll be just fine for me. But I was just advising you of another approach that a lot of people do prefer, and whichever suits you guys, go for. But I've got precision nippers that I'm just going to get nice and close to the miniature and cut away the sprue, giving myself less to file down in the long run. So we've freed up his back, like so. Then we're going to free up his legs as well. And there's a bit of sprue at the top to cut away, and one on each foot as well. So we'll grab both of those if we can get the blade flush to his foot, like so. And that's his legs free. Next up, we will be filing down any of these rough bits, so particularly on his legs. This bit on his belly just needs a little bit of work just to smooth that sprue cut down a little bit better. That should probably do. Let's just check. An alternative to this process is you could use the edge of a craft knife as well. That's often a way I go about doing these, but I've got the file to hand and I'm happy enough with that. You probably don't need to do much work on the feet, as we're going to be gluing them down to the base shortly anyway, but you know, it won't hurt to rough it up, because that will allow the glue to take a little bit easier when we try and stick it to the base, and B, just to smooth down a little bit of that sprue cut, like so. We're going to do the same with his torso-y area, so the gun just needs a little bit of work where it was cut away on the sprue from the barrel. Probably also drill this barrel out, like I'll need to check the artwork, but if it's just a normal style gun, I think I'll be getting my Army Painter pin vise and just drilling that out. I think drilling out the barrels just makes it, you know, it's minutes work, and it makes it look infinitely better than painting a black circle on that wood. Anywhere else where you've got any markings, in fact on that particular one, let's grab the aforementioned craft knife, and this is a scalpel, but an X-Acto blade, anything like that's going to work quite well here. This is one of the parts where I was mentioning you could cut a little bit further away from right up to the miniature when you're cutting from the sprue, and you could do this little bit of work by hand afterwards and just shave off that little bit of sprue when you can get nice and close with a blade instead of manipulating the pincers. That's just demonstrated a bit where I couldn't get as close, so it does need a little bit more cutting down. And I think a little bit on his shoulder. Again, we'll go back to the file for the shoulder, just smoothing that down, getting rid of that excess sprue. I will give this all another once over once it's glued back together. Speaking of gluing, we'll take the Army Painter's plastic glue now and just make sure the tip's not blocked. And we're going to apply, let's work out what's best to do, because we're going to be slotting these together. So there's a little slot there, a little tab there, and we want to join those two together in where they meet. So I think we're going to be better off getting a little bit glue on the tab, like so. And we're just going to pinch these two pieces together, try and get them nice and flush. And I'm just going to hold this for 20 seconds or so and then let that dry. While that is drying away, we're going to cut out the rest of his coat and see which bits we can get to again. See, this is a good example of another piece that I'm going to struggle to get the cutters into. It's just an awkward position. Yes. So I'm going to demonstrate what I was saying, where you can just cut further away. We'll cut nowhere near it, so it's nice and safe. Same on this side. Let's just do it on both sides. So cut well away from the miniature, freeing it up from the sprue. Oh, there's one at the bottom which we can get nice and close to. So we freed that up from the sprue, just remembering we do need to deal with these two pieces. And if we're lucky, we might be able to get in now a lot closer, which we actually can here. Still not close enough for my liking. It's just got this little corner of his jacket just in the way. Even though these are teeny tiny nippers, we'll use a knife on that to see if we can get closer to this one. Yes, much closer to that one. I think we're still going to be tidying up both though, so craft knife to the rescue. And we'll just shave down that excess bit of sprue that was stuck to his jacket just there, like so. And the same on, what is this in his hand? I've not noticed yet. He's got something, hasn't he? But cutting that down nicely too. Is the bottom one okay? Yeah, you can. That got really close, didn't it? Barely even notice anything there actually. But again, we can just use the side to scrape and file it down as well as using a file. And that's his jacket cut free. So let's work out where to glue that, and we'll glue that. So this bit is basically gluing to the remainder of his jacket. So I'm going to get a bit of glue in this hole here. That's where the bulk of the plastic's going to rest. Just a big blob in there, not being too careful. His pocket's going to sit on this little notch here. So let's get a little bit on there. Like so, just spread that up the line a little bit. And then it's going to join on this seam as well. So I'm going to try and run a really small, thin bead just down the edge of his jacket to get a really tight seal on that, and hopefully not have anything to fill, any join to fill up there. And then again, it's just a matter of squeezing that together. I'm going to pay very close attention to, I'm actually going to smooth that down with my finger. Don't know if that's the best idea, but just make sure that's nice and smooth, nothing to sort out. But again, once the glue's dry, you could file it down ever so slightly. Just going to pinch this tightly together to try and reduce any join lines whatsoever in this miniature. Once again, while that's drying, we are going to cut out the next couple of pieces, which is this stick of dynamite for his other pocket. So let's just try again, getting as close as I can. Again, difficult to get too close to, but we'll cut off a little bit of sprue and we'll work that down in a minute. As you see, it doesn't really take very long, and we'll do the same here. I'm cutting now away from the miniature because I'm just not getting as close as I wanted. But if I can get close, like here, getting nice and close, saving myself some time cutting that down. I'm just taking no chances when I can't get close, because I do not want to ruin this miniature, and I'm sure nobody out there would. It's not exactly cheap, this one, so take some care. But yeah, straight away I could get the nippers in nice and close to there. Just a little bit of work to do on just smoothing this down. So we'll just cut this bit down here, and then I'm going to use the side of the scalpel just to smooth that bit over. Very nice. And which other bit was it? It's nice when you can barely even tell which piece it was. It was just the edge of his beard here, wasn't it? So again, just the side of the scalpel, just scraping and smoothing and blending that in nicely. So that's completely gone. And then with this stick of dynamite for his pocket, so it's on the dynamite, the little sprue piece. That's quite hard to hold and get my hand to. Let's see if the nippers can get close now. I think this way up they'll be better suited. And yep, nice and flush to the dynamite. Perfect. It's left a little mark from the sprue. Again, we'll just carefully shave that down first with the blade, make it flat, and then I'll give it a side scrape and smooth and blend that in. Can't ever even tell that was on the sprue. Next, we'll be gluing these in, and the pocket goes on this pockety bit. And there's actually, again, a little notch there and a little knob there, and it's just a matter of getting a bit of glue in, and it's going to sit perfectly there. Ooh, I thought that wasn't going to come off then. This time, let's put a little bit of glue in the notch, like so. And then let's see if I can do that as perfectly as I just did it. Oh yeah, that's really easy. That just drops in both times I did it straight into place. So that's ready to paint. One thing that could have been better to paint, this, just pay attention at this bit. That was so easy to glue on. You might be better off pinning that and painting it separately, just so it's going to be a little bit easier to paint the coat behind it and paint this clear of the coat. It's going to be personal preference, but in hindsight, if I wasn't showing you how to build the whole miniature, I'd probably have saved that to glue on after I'd painted it. What else have we got? We've got the head. Now the head's just going to glue onto his neck. It's fairly straightforward. It's got a bit of a ball of a neck and a bit of a ball hole of a bit to put it in. So you can see there's a little notch there. Notch, am I getting these things right? This is like a little pin and a little notch on his head. I don't know which way around to describe it, but line up that blob with that hole. So it's going to be a matter of just clicking those two together there, and with a little bit of glue again. Once again, you may want to paint this before sticking his head on, because you want to get the white to his collar, and it just might be easier if his head isn't there. I'm gonna make do, and I just want to show it built, so it is what it is for me. But I'm going to apply some glue to his neck hole, and then I'm going to put his head on his neck hole, like so. And again, I'm just going to wait for 10-20 seconds, just making sure this is starting to hold in position, and then I'll allow this to dry. For the next section of the miniature we're putting together, we're going to be building up the base. It's 32mm, it says in the instructions. Oh, instructions there? Who reads those? And we're going to just need to take off the final pieces of the base. Just one thing I noticed while looking at the base is this is the lid for this box. This box is full of grenades, but the lid's closed. What? Anybody know why that is? Why such detail that's then closed? Why didn't they just do 2 sealed boxes? And also, are you supposed to paint the grenades that you can't see inside the box? Somebody let me know what's all that about. It's fantastic detail. Love it. But couldn't they have just made it £1 cheaper by not designing that part and then, you know, not having that there? Like, why is this box hinged? Could I hinge it open instead? Is there, can you change from the design somehow? Can I modify this? I don't know. I'm so new to this I'm new to building miniatures full stop, let alone this concept of hidden detail. Look, see, I've cut off the lid and that's supposed to go in there and he's going to stand on it. So what's that for? Should I glue it open? I feel like I want to glue it open. But it's not what the instructions say. Let me know in the comments below what's all that about. Also, was that upside down? Yeah, it's 100% upside down, so it fits even tighter. That's how it's supposed to go. Why is there grenades in there? Somebody explain this to me. Anyway, guys, just cut out all the pieces. It's exactly the same process. We're going to cut them out, I'm going to trim them down, and then I'll show you how to put it together. Just while I'm cleaning up this part of the miniature, this bag of grenades that's on the floor, I just noticed there is actually a mold line. Can you see it? At least I think it's a mold line, and I don't want it. So not only am I going to trim off this bit of the sprue just here, and then once again use the side of the blade, smooth that down. That's going to work really well on the mold line as well. Just run that blade sideways along, and it's just going to make that disappear and blend it in nice and smooth. With all the base pieces trimmed down, cut out, neatened up, all of that, we're going to start putting it together. So the first thing you're going to want to do is put this bag of grenades into this little piece here, and it fits in just like that. That's pretty easy, isn't it? So not quite sure where we want to glue, but somewhere we'll probably go just along the edge of this base. I think I'll try and get a little bead along all the way around. And then we'll just squeeze that in there again. Like so. And then once again, I'm going to be baffled by covering up these grenades, but this is just simply upside down. So you want the bit that's got the sticky out bit to sit in here. The recess goes on the top. And that is just to go in there. I don't want to cover it up. Oh well, let's do it. So I'll just run, again, a little bead around the tippity top. I'm going to aim for the inside because it just doesn't feel like the inside matters at all. There's so much detail in there, but just to make sure the glue splurts inwards rather than outwards. Not that I put too much glue in there to splurt anyway, but why even risk it? A little bit came out there, but only a teeny tiny bit. And just tap that on the tippity top. And then it's a matter of gluing that to the base as best I can, and it sticks out a little bit over the top because it's got this sort of makeshift snow. But yeah, oh, it's even got a little bit of glue on it. So I'm just going to apply some glue to all the flat bits of the base, and that should stick that down fairly reasonably well, not being overly careful at all on the bottom because who cares, nobody can see it, like so. And then we've just got the guy himself, Red Gobbo himself, to stick on, and that's a matter of finding that notch there that we didn't cut off. We just filed down, and we're going to put that little knot. Am I got the words right way around? That little tag that's sticking out into this little hole here, and he's going to fit in there. And then his other foot is going to go on this barrel, on this box on the other side, and you can see his heel goes into that bag there. So you want to line up that peg with that hole on the box and his heel and the hole on the bag, and he's going to sit on it like that. So let's just add a little smidge of this plastic glue into this hole here, little as I can really, just enough to hold him. And then the same on the bag, we'll just get a little bit in that hole there, and then he's going to squirt into there fairly nicely. That's it. He's in, he's on, he's ready to roll. And that's it. And that is Red Gobbo completely complete. Pretty nice. So as I mentioned, you know, the plan is just to paint this up for some fun, and I'll stick it an eBay link in the description below if you guys want to check it out, if you'd like to support the channel, if you'd like to get yourself this miniature pre-painted, or maybe a Christmas present for somebody who might care. It's just trying something else out that's a little bit new. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the idea. Maybe this miniature's not for you, but you'd like to see it more often with some other things. Thank you all ever so much for watching, and stay tuned for the painting video. Oh guys, if any of you are still here, just one extra thing to mention. I did say I would probably drill out the barrel, and if you guys aren't doing this, do give it a go. All you need is a little pin vise. I'll leave a link in the description below for this, and just a matter of trying to keep it central and just drilling out that hole. Once that's painted up, it just looks so much better than a flat piece of plastic there. It actually looks like it's got a 3D gun with an actual barrel. So a little bonus tip for you there.